After this week's episode of An In-Depth Look, you'll only have to remember one password for the rest of your life. Okay, now if you're watching this video, you probably already know passwords suck. I mean, they have to be long and complex, and that makes them hard to remember. Plus, if you're being a good little boy or girl, you also should use a different password on every website you use. And that is a pain in the butt because just about every service out there requires a login. And if one website's password database is hacked and leaked online, if you use that password anywhere else, those other sites are essentially leaked online as well. And that's almost happened to me before, and that's where LastPass swooped in and saved the day. Let's break LastPass down into 3 separate parts this episode. Before we get to that though, I should mention, I realize there are other password management programs out there, but I think we'll save those for a future episode because LastPass is rockin', and I want to tell you all about it. All right, let's break it down. First up is the LastPass Vault. So what is the LastPass Password Vault? Well, it is a database where all of your different passwords for the different websites you use are stored, not only on your computer, but also on LastPass's servers. But really, the best part about the LastPass Vault is that's how you synchronize all of your passwords across all of your devices and computers. More on that in a minute. All right, let's talk about this LastPass Password Vault because I think a lot of you are probably getting hung up here. I mean, why would you want to store all of your important passwords in this one database and then upload it to some third-party company and where they'll just store it on their box, right? That seems risky. Ha! I'm laughing because LastPass has already thought of this. They figured you wouldn't trust them, so they built that into the product. LastPass uses encryption on the client end, which means the only decrypting that ever happens is right on your machine during your password session. Otherwise, only encrypted data and results are sent back up to LastPass. They only store the encrypted version. You are the only person that can decrypt it with your LastPass 1 password. I love that. Plus, once you get things in the LastPass Vault, you can categorize them. So I have things in there like, these are my client's login and passwords, these are work login and passwords, and these are personal ones, and these are Jupiter Broadcasting ones. I can break it all down into different categories to keep all these different logins I have more organized and keep them in their own proper buckets. The LastPass Password Vault can also store other things like your address, your shipping address, your payment information if you want to put that in there, and then LastPass can autofill that into web forms. How does LastPass do that? Using the browser extension. Let's talk about that. You stuck with me for this long, have you? Well, that's good, because the LastPass browser extension is my favorite part, because it makes using LastPass stupid easy. I'm serious. When you go to a website, and remember, they have extensions for like every browser out there, but when you go to a website, it'll automatically detect that you're, say, filling out an account and you need a password. It'll generate one for you, and it can be nice and complex. Fill it into the form, and then save it to the LastPass Password Vault. Boom. All with just a couple of clicks, and then, before you even know it, you've already started using LastPass and you've generated a unique secure password just for that website. Now, when you return to the website later on, LastPass will detect that and automatically fill in the login information that it stored for you previously. That means, hey, it might just be a Twitter account, but at least it has its own unique password. But that does raise a challenge, doesn't it? What do you do when you're on the go and you don't have your LastPass browser extension, but you need to get logged into a website? So you're a road warrior, huh? Got big concerns getting to your sites on the go? LastPass has you covered. They have apps for just about every major mobile platform out there. I'll give specific mention to their iPad app, the LastPass Browser Tab, I think is what it's called. It gives you a tab browser. It sits on top of Safari and has the LastPass extension built in. This is really handy when you become a heavy LastPass user and you have an iPad. But they also have apps for Android as well as a Dolphin plugin. If you're on Android and you use the Dolphin browser, check out the LastPass plugin. It just adds LastPass functionality to Dolphin, which is a great Android browser, so check that out. They also have standard iPhone apps and things that just give you a list of the vault, and then you tap on one of the websites in the vault, it'll automatically launch your mobile browser and fill in the login information for you. So you don't have to worry about typing in one of those crazy long complicated passwords it generated for you on a mobile device. They've done a little magic to solve that for you. And that brings us to the end of this week's in-depth look. Now, there's lots of other things LastPass can do, so be sure to go check the show notes. I got other notes and links in there to things that I think are really great about LastPass. And there's also RSS feed links you can subscribe to get an in-depth look weekly when new episodes come out. I am just getting this series started, though, so I want to get your ideas. I've got all kinds of geeky topics that I want to dig into, but you've probably got a few great ones as well. Hit me up on a social network. You can go over to bit.ly/Chris Fisher to get links to all of my different social profiles, or email me, chris@jupiterbroadcasting.com, with an in-depth look suggestion. And like I said, LastPass, massive topic. I know it can do a lot more, and I know there's other tools out there to also do this stuff. It's just with all the shows we do on Jupiter Broadcasting, one thing has become extremely clear to me. Good password hygiene is critical, like as important as putting a firewall on your internet connection. Passwords have become the #1 source of data breaches online, and anything I can do to help promote good password hygiene, I'm all about. So I made this episode nice, specific, laser-focused on LastPass, but there's lots of other things it can do as well. All right, everyone. Well, thanks so much for watching this week's episode of An In-Depth Look, and I'll see you right back here next week.